welcome to one and all. My name is Surendra Bora. I'm an entrepreneur by profession and a business coach. We all know how the entire world is going through this pandemic situation and how most of the businesses have been impacted by this deadly virus, isn't it? In that direction, we have set up a series of talks with the brands. Do you want to know how those brands are working, managing their work during this lockdown, and how are they going to work forward? So, in that direction, I want to introduce to you our first guest for today, and that is a man with a Midas touch, a legacy that has been carried from the pre-independence era since 1929. It's been 91 years of this brand called N.Gopaladas Jewelers. They have been carrying it on the legacy for the last 4 generations back to back, and starting from a humble background from Srirangam, Tiruchi, until now, continuing to grow from a local, national, and international, global brand presence there. So I welcome Mr. Mihir Shah, who is the CEO of N.Gopaladas Jewelers, an amazing entrepreneur who is going to share with us how they have been working during the lockdown. Hello, Mihir Shah. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Suren. Hi, viewers. It's a pleasure to see all of you during this lockdown time, or rather, just the initial opening days.
It's absolutely a pleasure to have you on our this talk series. How you have been a pioneer in your own field, in your own way, and how you have been carrying on this legacy and carrying this brand so amazingly beautifully. So we're going to have a discussion. I'm going to shoot you out some questions basically, and all you have to do is answer them. So are you ready, Meir bhai?
Yes, Mr. Suren. It will be a pleasure to share whatever I have learned all along with everybody.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. So here we go. What do you think? Say, entire everyone are going through this situation. So, what is your view of this entire so-called new normal, the current scenario which is there of the retail business as such? What is your view upon this? Can you just share some light and so that everyone can benefit from that?
There's no thinking twice that things have been affected, and we do have new barriers in our business. But that's what I think retail is all about. If you didn't have COVID, you would have something else. Uh, Barriers are actually challenges and opportunities for entrepreneurs. Yes, this is a more higher and difficult barrier, and retail will get affected for some time. But on the long run, I don't think retail will affect in any way. In fact, it will bounce back much better. And the strength and the strong people, the strength of the strong people will be tested at these times. It is at these times where children will be separated from men, and a good chance for children to become men. So
Wow.
this is an opportunity for us to become more better than what we were. And if we take it that way, I think we would definitely succeed. The scenario looks very bad, but there is great opportunity even in these scenarios. It is just that we have to look at the right places, and not at the places where we have been always looking at and which we are comfortable with. And business is there in the market.
Very nicely put up, Meerbai. And it's absolutely because the entire everyone is facing this new normalcy. I'm very hope that the entire retail structure will come back. But what don't you think the entire offline structure of this retailing, and now a lot of online businesses are coming over, and this so-called what do you call this, augmented reality, virtual reality, everyone is into this. So what is your take? Are you going to continue working in the same direction like offline, or are you going to take your entire system to online, and what is your plan about, and how are you going to do it? And probably even how the retail business are going to operate from, we know a lot of things are moving online, right? You know very very well, so please help us on that.
Correct. Well, my take on this is pretty simple. The online business has been picking up in the last 10, 15, 20 years, uh, different for different products. For example, the high end products didn't take off as much as the absolute essential needs. For example, the vegetables, fruits, and the cereals and everything were fast and better accepted than jewelry was. Jewelry still is just 3% of the entire total sale of regular sales, which is online. And it's still online, it's not a very profitable business. But when you take retail as a whole, I think that is the way forward. And COVID, all it has done is put the gun to your head and press the trigger, saying that, boss, the speed at which you are running for online has to be like multi-fold scaled up with a speed unimaginably high, which is needed today. So, I mean, whoever and whichever products could sell easily online, which need not be felt and touched, and which could always be exchanged back, which could always be absolutely needed and could be bought without going outside the house. Those are the products that are definitely going to go up. As far as our industry is concerned, we have always been online, but jewelry has never sold greatly online. And for those who are selling online, for example, big jewelers like Tanishq and Blue Nile, they still project 10 years of break even, which is not the style of essential, which is not the style of traditional brick and mortar businesses. They'd like to see money within 3 years of their investment. So other than jewelry, I think retail industry is going to go big time online. And for the jewelry industry in particular, marketing digitally, we ourselves have increased it fivefold. So that would be a bigger presence for us, and that would be the right marketing channel for us at this particular point of time.
Okay, very nice. I think the entire structure which is there online, as you put it across, because it's been running across various mediums, we can see various platforms. The entire retail industry is is seen in a completely different format. But yours is a completely a touch and feel concept. So yours is,
Correct.
I know there is going to be a shift in the buying patterns. We all know that more people are going to be going to go less, since there is a social distancing going to be there. And so, is there a shift? Is there going to be any shift in your selling patterns? Because your business is something where it's more touch, feel, and all those things are there. So, is there going to be any change in the selling way you are selling or approaching your clients? So, what is your take on that? Don't you think so?
Uh, we have to change our selling patterns. How drastic and how innovative is what is going to make the difference for the market. When we What we are doing at this particular juncture for selling is what we were doing before. We used to approach clients. Clients used to come to our office, our showrooms. Now, since the lockdown is there, we have been approaching clients with the jewelry at their homes. Sanitizing the jewelry before and after wear has been a norm which has just started in the last 15 days. There are devices available which we thought would be used only in operation theaters to sanitize and remove the bacteria off the scalpels and knives. But now the same machines are being used
True.
in the jewelry showrooms to sanitize the jewelry after and before being worn. Innovation, which was not big thrust in the mass of jewelers just before COVID, has right now become an absolute need of the market. The need of the market for you to just innovate and bring something totally different in the market. The innovation could be in the method we sell, in the product we sell, in the uh, in the very method of selling. For example, the EMIs were a breakthrough when credit cards came in. People used to buy monthly equated installments was a new concept when credit cards came in, and it became a big hit. Similar innovations during this time have been a norm. What we are right now doing is giving the jewelry to clients at their homes, having them wear it, keep it for a week, and then decide whether they would like to buy it or not. New innovations on similar products, same kind of jewelry being worn in 10, 15 different types. So these have been our basic change in selling patterns. I don't know about the other industries. Broadly speaking, about other industries, the way Dunzo, the way Big Basket have been operating have also been phenomenal. They just drop it. They don't even wait for you to come and pick it up. They drop it in your doorstep, and you pick it up after a few hours, feeling that it's disinfected. I mean, it's still a way forward.
That's completely a commodity product, right? But yours is a completely different product which is available on which you are going to provide. Your services and products are completely a different segment. So another thing which I also want to ask you is, since you're having a global presence, a national presence, how are you able to take this as I come back to my other question again, is the offline and online strategy which is there. How are you maintaining the offline? Can your business be done in a purely in the same offline format which is existing? Are you still confident about it, which will come back?
No, there will be a major shift. There'll be more than 30, 40% of the people who have now started becoming more comfortable online, though not buying online by the click of a button, but other platforms like WhatsApp, other platforms like Facebook. Different cities have got different methods. For example, Trichy being a small city, things are not very far off, but places like Chennai, places like Hyderabad, places like Dubai, especially, most of the marketing and sale is done through Facebook and WhatsApp, and the sale is confirmed also on Facebook. They just come at the end of the day and pick it up. They just figure out whether it's the same piece of jewel. They just pay and take it. Decisions are everything is already made online. So yes, there is a
Right.
major shift online. We were thinking it could just be the youngsters, but it's not just the youngsters. Even people in the age bracket of 40 to 60 are also doing the same.
Fantastic. I think that's a very, very valid point. I'm sure people who are watching there, whatever, I really thank everyone who have logged in online to watch this particular talk series, Dialogues with the Entrepreneurs. And we will continue in the same direction. My next question to you is huge legacy of continuing from 4 generations. Okay. And every time the question comes up is it's been close to more than 91 years, if I'm right now. How do you continue this entire legacy for 4 generations, generation after generation, and what is next in plan, and how do you do that? What motivates you, or what is in plan ahead? Can you just guide us?
It's a
We see
very
lots of businesses closing down, but here we see that there is a legacy which is carried on for generations. Yes.
Suren, this is a very elaborate. I need a lot of time to answer this. Let me give it to you in a short. Uh, See, for the last 4 generations, even though we are in the same family, the same name, there are two things which actually markedly differentiate us from the general public. One, it's just we are not just in the business for the money. Of course, money is extremely important, but it is the way we look at business. It is the way we want to serve the society that we live in. It is the way we take it as a attribute to our life and not our whole life, as this being a part to add on and give meaning to the rest of our life, which is the major wholesome part, which has been the guiding factor for all our generations. The first
True.
generation who started the business had a target of we will earn this much of money and then we will leave the business altogether. It's not something which is practiced in all business families. We know that people who are there who follow Queen Elizabeth more than anybody else. Still, King Charles is never King Charles, it's Prince Charles altogether. But in our family, the basic criteria that you should do your schooling and then 5 years of college before coming in. Once you get into the business, you need to contribute to 30 years of your life only to business and then to activities which will serve society has been a guiding factor for most of our period. When we
True.
took over, it was already the same things had already been done by our previous generations, and we wanted to do something different. And the only thing that we thought at that particular time, and 20 years before I was 22 years old, the only thing that I could think of was I should expand the footprint of a brand that has already been established, which could be my contribution and our generation's contribution to the brand. The previous generation were satisfied living in one place, satisfied in doing their best in one city. And if we needed to do something extra, we thought we should take it globally and make it a global presence. Now, at this particular juncture, after 20 years, we want a global presence with an X amount of sales revenue. So every time the goalpost keeps, I won't say its goalpost is changing, but the goalpost becomes slightly bigger or slightly added on with a couple of more additions saying that this also has to be done. So I would consider the extension of any business for a longer period of time needs a few basic criteria. One is your clear ambition to sustain the business that you are in, no matter what the troubles are. The minute you feel that there is a little problem in the business and you start thinking of other avenues of business, normally it's just like any other thing. You are going to start giving less time to the particular business you are in, and this is not going to go forward again. So if we could think how better we should do the same business in any particular um, scenario of life, that will help us not only grow with the same business, it will help us grow the business and help us to have a legacy and longevity to that business. And that itself I consider is a very um, good or a very difficult thing to achieve.
Excellent. Well said, Mihir. In fact, I'm also a second generation entrepreneur, so I know what goes into it. And generation after generation, it's only a responsibility to increase your goal and take it forward truly with accountability and responsibility. And hats off to you and the way you're taking N.Gopaladas Jewelers. And also, all the viewers who are watching over here, let me tell you, one thing which has been associated with Gopal Das Jeweler is the name prefix is Kairasi. So can you just tell briefly about just highlight on this? How come this name has come Kairasi and
Um, well, this is a name given by the clients to us, and I would just say we are blessed and fortunate to have that. Any piece of jewelry that we have made for anybody, whether we make it for a common man or for a prince, the amount of effort throughout the line, right from the person who takes the order to the person who executes the order and delivers it, the effort and the intention to give the best is continuously present. And at the end of it, when the jewel is delivered to the client, see, ultimately the whole process is done by humans, and to err is human. So we don't know what is the mistakes that we have done throughout the process, in spite of all our good intentions. So before we hand over the jewel to the client, this has been a practice in most of the jewelers shops, and it has been a practice in our company for the last 4 generations. No matter which staff delivers the jewel, we give it, we keep the jewel in front of the altar, a small puja room in every showroom that we have. And then when we hand over the jewelry to the client, we have a small mantra which we say. The intention is to say that what we have done and what we are giving you now is a prasad of the Lord. So no matter what happens, we hope that it does good for you. So we pray with good intentions that whatever he bought from us is going to do good for him and for his entire family. And there have been many a times when the client has bought it and it has not worked out for them and they want to give it back. We are probably one of the only companies who used to have it in their bill books written saying that 15-day, no questions, buyback guarantee. And only thing is, after we came here and we started expanding, we found out that there used to be a certain misuse to it. People used to wear it for weddings and come and give it back. So we have removed that line, but we still stand it. We know when the client doesn't like it, we refund them the full amount. We don't ask any questions. We don't want to know why he's returning it. All we want to know is if you're not happy wearing the jewel, we don't want to sell it to you. So
Fantastic.
most of the time the clients who have bought from us have been so happy with us that they say that buying from you is lucky for us. So there are many jewelers, there are many stores who are much bigger and who have a wider selections than us, but still the main jewelry is always bought from us. The Tirumangalyam and the basic jewelry is always bought from us, from clients who want a bigger variety, of course.
Excellent, sir. I think your intentions are pure. That's why you keep on carrying on what you love to do. Fantastic. One question which is very, very evident is how did you engage your staffs, your team, and keep in touch with your customers during lockdown? How did you manage to do that, and what have you been doing that? And what do you call since now the work from home is growing, you know very very well, so what is your take on all these things? Yes, you can just share.
At first, work from home in our business is not very feasible. Probably 10% of our staff can work from home. So it's better that lockdown opens up faster, because most of the business is transactional, and the only thing that can be done as work from home is probably the back end accounting part of it and the online business. Other than that, keeping the staff engaged has been a hectic 2 months for us. The SBU heads, um, us, the directors, and the managers who head all the units are all actually worked up, and they all need a 15-day break once the lockdown opens. Uh, Everybody has been extremely cooperative in the whole 2 months lockdown period. Our only intention was to keep alive the mental health of all the staff that we have. The first 1 week, we had actually given them complete free time on the whole thing, so that we thought we should give them a break for a week, because this is a break that they deserve to get. And after the first 1 week, we started with a 1 hour session every day for all the staff, every department with their staff. So it was not a big group, but about a group of 7 to 10 people, but 6 to 7 groups. We started with physical exercises. We started with their own religious activity. We had a group of only Christian people. We had a group of just 4 or 5 Muslim people. But after 3 or 4 days, everybody was tired even of that. So the whole 2 months, every 4 days, we had a different format. We weren't
Fantastic.
bothered about them acquiring a new skill, but we were more bothered about them being happy and more engaged rather than getting bored. At the end of 1 month, people started getting used to this, and that is when we brought in planning for the next 6 months. And the last 1 month has been everyday planning for 2 hours with the whole team sitting together and brainstorming on what could work, what would not work. Then they would try it out for the next 2 days, and then again they'd come back to the table. So there have been many a times when we have approached clients on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and there have been times when clients have got angry with us, saying that, is this the time for you to market a jewelry to me, or is this the time that you want to sell to me? So they have then we change the strategy to saying that, is there anything that we can do for you? Is that anything that there have been old people? So in Trichy being a smaller place, there are so many 60 plus clients who couldn't go out. So the staff who were nearby to them used to get them vegetables for their house, small things just to keep in touch with the clients. And
Amazing, very nice.
keeping the staff engaged has been It's been a very big journey. The SBU heads especially and the managers, they are tired because to engage those staff for 2 to 3 hours, they had to do background work of another 2 hours. And being at home, you know very well that the work at home also is extra. In spite of uh, there are many houses who don't have their regular servants coming in. So the work responsibility along with this 3 to 4 hours of work in the lockdown was enough work to keep their mental health happy, and we have done that successfully for the last 2 months.
Excellent, sir. Very, very nice. Because to keep staff one side engaged and then the customers engaged and to connect between the two is something which is really to be managed, and that's what all the entrepreneurs challenge is, and they have to continue. So before I move on to my one last question before this is, in everyone were in the lockdown. I'm sure the lockdown has taught us in so many ways. So my question to you is, what professionally and what personally? The lot of online courses, a lot of family time. I know has been there. So what is your learning from the lockdown, which has been there, and you can just share so that we can uh, have understanding.
Um, the learnings have been phenomenal. The first thing that we got is the family time with the whole family. We have never spent so much time with the family. We didn't know we didn't know my children as well as I do now after 2 months of staying with my children. So that has been very big learning during this lockdown. We I have connected with friends with whom I haven't spoken for the last 30 years. I've spoken with people whom I haven't been in touch for the last 15, 20 years. So those have been great networking, getting back to friendship, getting back to basics has been one of the most basic learning and basic experiences that we have had during the lockdown. The other big learning that we had was once I got out of college, the time that I had to plan for my entire career, I've never had the time again, or I had never taken out the time again. Yes, every year we used to take out 15, 20 days to rework the whole year ahead, but we have never taken out 2 months to figure out whether this is the direction that we need to go in life. Is this what we set out to do? And remove our goals, remove our targets, uh, redefine them again under a new perspective has been one of our biggest learnings. What other than this, what we have read, there are many seminars we attended, but there most of the seminars used to repeat the same thing over and over again. So after the first 15 days, generally got bored of them, and you couldn't attend more because there was no opportunity for you to implement until things open up. Actually, the ideas were so many that we had to wait for it to be implemented to know whether it's going to work or it's not going to work. So all the learnings that we have had, these are the two most basic learnings. We have written down, I have written down multiple points that we need to do in the next 15 years and what exactly to do in the next 3 months. This kind of time I have never had before. And I think this was the
Excellent.
best time for that. There was nobody to call and disturb us on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mirbai. It was amazing inputs from you. One last before we close on. If I have to start a retail business as on today after the lockdown, what will be your one strong advice for that particular entrepreneur if he has to begin? Just quickly we can have, and then we can close.
This is the best ever time you could start anything. This is the time where your costs are the lowest, expectations of people are the lowest, and the entire market is open when people are thinking extremely negative. I mean, 90% of the people whom I talk to are extremely negative about scenarios. This is the time, if you could start at this time, and if you could, you need a time to increase your base, to develop your base. This is the time to start anything for that matter. If you had money, this is the time to invest. If you had money, if you had time, this is the time to do new businesses, study new businesses, get into it. There could be no better time than this. It has to be
Excellent.
started now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, for the opportunity given to share your input, share your success story, share your experiences. because more than any other thing, what comes from an entrepreneur is something is a pure which everyone can aspire to begin their new life. Thank you, Mihir bhai. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Suren. Thank you, Suren.
Definitely, we will look
Thank
forward
you,
to.
Suren,
Thank
for
you.
the opportunity and helping me explain whatever we have done during the lockdown. I hope it has benefited many. And if there's
I
anything, you could always get back to me.
Thank you. I hope all the viewers can benefit from this, watching now and even later. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends who are all watching this video. Thank you for encouraging. This is my first time which I'm coming online live with an entrepreneur series. And I hope to get all the feedback and support and encouragement from you all. And we will continue our journey of exploring with the entrepreneurs, understanding their perspective and the entire business perspective to improve our lives and our